Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Today's show is a mix of inspiration with a little bit of reflection. We also have sports, gymnastics that is. I'm Theodore Henry. There's much to learn and know, so stay with us.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 8. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is moving to transform Jamaica into a low-carbon economy. This, he says, is being done through the development of policies on electric vehicles as well as hydro, wind and solar power generation. Mr. Holness asserts that with the right kinds of local and international investments, the country will be able to generate enough clean energy to power its homes and businesses.
We have a great interest in seeing a transformation of the global financial system that would allow us to access products, that would allow us to transfer risk, better insurance products, better de-risking of investments, areas in which we're happy to see that the Green Climate Fund is seeking to play a greater role.
The Prime Minister was participating in a panel discussion at the Green Climate Fund's Private Investment for Climate Conference on Monday. Private and public sector leaders are in Incheon in the Republic of Korea to accelerate climate action in developing countries. Prime Minister Holness used his assignment in the Asian country to meet with his Korean counterpart. He also held talks with former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and met with representatives of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and the World Wildlife Fund. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will be seeking a partnership with the Jamaican private sector to monitor planting under the 3 Million Trees initiative. He says monitoring will be done through the development of a mobile application that uses geographic information systems to track, locate, and tag trees. The app will assist the government in managing the trees distributed and planted by the public.
Our aim is to improve the resilience of our coasts, hillsides, and plains, while also improving the beauty of our urban centers, major thoroughfares, parks, and the added effect of offsetting greenhouse gas emissions.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking at Friday's ceremony to mark the 17th Annual National Tree Planting Day under the theme, Plant a Tree Today for a Prosperous Tomorrow. At the event, 100 seedlings were planted at Jamaica House to launch the initiative under which 3 million timber and ornamental trees will be planted across the island over the next 3 years. 2 million will be planted by Forestry Department while the rest will be distributed to the public. The program is expected to be carried out by 1,000 Hope interns attached to the Forest Management Corps and residents who live in communities close to forests. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett has called for the establishment of a Tourism Resilience Fund for the Caribbean. If established, the fund will be the region's main financing facility for assisting highly susceptible Caribbean tourist destinations. Minister Bartlett made the call in Incheon, South Korea yesterday, where he joined the Prime Minister at the second Global Green Climate Fund Conference.
The Caribbean is the most tourism-dependent region on earth, with a GDP dependence of over 40%. And 16 of the 28 countries are in the top 30 of the world's most tourism-dependent regions.
A tourism resilience fund would help to build capacity to respond to disruptive threats to the region's economic sustainability, particularly those related to climate change impacts. Minister Bartlett argued that the devastation caused by Hurricanes Maria and Irma to 13 of the region's most tourism-dependent economies during the 2017 Atlantic hurricane season resulted in the region losing over $1 billion in revenues. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will be embarking on a mosquito sterilization project next year as part of measures to reduce the spread of vector-borne diseases. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement on Monday as he addressed the Pan American Health Organization workshop at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. The Mosquito Control Research Unit at the University of the West Indies will spearhead the pilot for the sterilized insect technique. Dr. Christopher Tufton says it's an environmentally friendly pest control method which involves mass rearing and sterilization via radiation of target pests such as the Aedes aegypti mosquito. And that's it for JI's News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Businesses operating within parishes under the state of emergency, your closing time has been extended. In St. Catherine and Clarendon, clubs, fast food restaurants, petrol stations, and establishments operating under a tavern license, your opening hours are 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. For supermarkets, grocery shops, haberdasheries, and other businesses, opening hours are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. In Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James, business closing time is between 10 p.m. and midnight.
Next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness now in the Republic of Korea for climate conference. 3 million trees in 3 years initiative launched, and the region's largest solar power farm opens in Westmoreland. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Jamaica's proposal for a Caribbean green bond listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange has been approved by the Green Climate Fund (GCF). This will see the island drawing down nearly $483,000 from the GCF to make the Jamaican business environment climate smart and sustainable.
Jamaica actively advocates and will continue to advocate for increased and enhanced access to climate finance from both public and private sector sources.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement Monday morning as he addressed the Green Climate Fund Private Investment for Climate Conference. The October 7 to 9 summit is being held in Incheon, the Republic of Korea. While in Korea, Mr. Holness met with the GCF's Deputy Executive Director, the Jamaican Diaspora, and spoke at a panel discussion titled Raising the Bar, Moving Forward with Climate Change Ambitions. Early in the week, the Prime Minister was in the U.S. capital of Washington, D.C. At a dinner hosted by the Jamaican Embassy in the U.S. capital, Prime Minister Holness told the gathering that he would be pursuing greater social partnerships to transform the island.
If we can do that for debt, then we can do it for crime and violence in the country. We can do it for infrastructure. We can do it for public sector reform. And we can do it to bring corruption under control.
While in Washington, D.C., Mr. Holness met with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence. Those talks centered on Jamaica-U.S. cooperation in security, trade, disaster recovery, and other areas. Prime Minister Holness also visited the headquarters of the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB. He discussed key elements of Jamaica's country program with IDB officials, including President Luis Alberto Moreno. Back in Jamaica Tuesday, Mr. Holness sought a 90-day extension of the state of public emergency in the St. Andrews South Police Division. During the sitting of the House of Representatives, the Prime Minister disclosed that over the 84 days since the special security measure has been in place, murders, shootings, and rapes have been halved.
If we continue with the measures, we will have 2 consecutive periods of reduction in murders. And that's very important. It is important to get momentum. Very important that criminals understand that there is a consensus amongst lawmakers to have a firm handle on crime.
Members of Parliament agreed and voted to continue the state of emergency until January 4, 2020. The Prime Minister meanwhile told the House that government would be meeting with the opposition to reach an agreement on ways to tackle crime.
I will be meeting with the leader of the opposition. We will hopefully reach some consensus as to how we should move forward. And I think Jamaica will look at us in a far better light.
Still in Parliament Tuesday, Mr. Holness announced that the National Water Commission would be relaxing water restrictions in the corporate area. This, he said, followed word that the Mona and Hermitage dams were over 50% of their capacity.
I think the level of frustration that the public is experiencing is tremendously high, and it would be not easy to explain to people why we're having rain and then they still can't get water. So we will have to relax, but we still are very cautious. So we're not going to just totally abandon all our conservation methods, but we will relax so that people can get water now.
And the Prime Minister said the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation's budget for 2019-2020 would be reworked. The review is to accommodate the rehabilitation of 215 roads across the island, which have either been blocked or badly damaged by flood events in recent months. Mr. Holness said the repair bill stood at $640 million and continues to climb.
So we are going to go and look back at our budget, look back at the budget specifically for the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation to see what we can cut, postpone, change in order to make some allocations.
Wednesday saw the Prime Minister in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, to open the 37-megawatt Paradise Park solar farm.
This is a signal to investors. It's a signal to the OUR. It's a signal to JPS. It's a signal to our financial market. It is a signal to the citizens of the country that your government is doing everything it can to ensure that we are protecting our own environment by using cleaner energy.
The $65 million investment is the largest of its kind in the English-speaking Caribbean and has the capacity to power 78,000 households. With 17% of Jamaica's electricity needs being supplied by renewable sources, the Prime Minister challenged regulators to push for 50% by 2030. And while in Westmoreland, Mr. Holness viewed progress being made on the $24.9 million Ferries to Macfield Road improvement work. The Prime Minister said the 14-kilometer roadway was 95% complete. Mr. Holness also took time to look at work being done to rebuild the Paradise Bridge, which collapsed in October 2018. Works on the $48 million bridge are advanced and should be completed soon.
I think the people of Westmoreland, particularly the communities along this road, are very happy. It will increase commerce, it will increase the comfort of travel, and I think it will also spur economic development.
And at Jamaica House Friday, the Prime Minister launched a national tree planting initiative under the theme 3 million trees in 3 years. Plant a tree today for a prosperous tomorrow. The 3-year program seeks to plant over 3 million timber and ornamental trees to combat climate change. To be spearheaded by the Forestry Department, the initiative is expected to employ over 1,000 HOPE program interns. Prime Minister Holness used the launch to urge greater private and public sector support for the project. Before that, Mr. Holness was at Caenwood High School to open a new state-of-the-art ICT center. Valued at $12 million, the center is fully air-conditioned with 42 new computers, audiovisual equipment, a 65-inch television, high-speed internet and Wi-Fi. The Prime Minister, who is also a Member of Parliament for the area, committed to renovating the high school. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Jamaica will host the second Tourism Resilience Summit of the Americas on October 9 and 10. The two-day summit seeks to explore tourism climatic resilience initiatives from around the world. This game-changing summit is being held under the theme, Building Tourism Resilience for Sustainable Futures. Global and regional speakers will share best practices on how to recover from man-made and natural tourism disruptions. That's the second Tourism Resilience Summit of the Americas on October 9 and 10 at the University of the West Indies Regional Headquarters in Kingston, Jamaica. The event is open to the public.
Fire! Fire! My bed, my clothes.
Same script, different day. What's worse, sometimes a human being, even a child, dies in these unfortunate situations. The loss of lives and valuables as a result of fires is impacting those who remain behind. The mental effort to get up from the ashes. Taxpayers too are being burnt, as more dollars are being shelled out for fire emergency operations. Homeowners must implement fire safety plans.
It's important for us to fireproof our homes because we have our families and we normally have strict guidelines as to how you operate within the home, or you store your chemicals as it relates to your kitchen, how you manage your heat sources, how you handle your plugs. So the safety measures that you take as it relates to the protection of your children.
Here are a few situations you must avoid to prevent losing your home to fire. Finally home from a tired day at work. The first thing many people do is get something to eat. Now, this is when a fire safety sin is usually committed, having a cigarette while tired or the stove is left on. What else at home are you not doing safely? Like this, using a computer or mobile phone on the bed. So they should not be used on flammable surfaces such as beds or sofas.
Leaving your cell phones on your bed can trigger the ignition temperatures of that spread or sheet and can actually cause a flame. So we encourage you not to leave your cell phones unattended. It's an active source of heat, and worse when it is charging. It has caused many house fires based on our statistics.
Between 2010 and so far in 2019, 100 children were burnt to death. One of the main causes of these deadly fires, a child left unattended with burning candles.
Based on investigation from fires, we find that most of the times it's because we leave our children unattended, right? So we leave them with the matches, we leave them with the candles, we leave them with the lighters, and we leave them with maybe a laptop or an iPod, something to keep their attention, but they are fascinated by flame.
Here are some other factors found by the brigade to be the major causes of fires within the home. Clothes put to dry at the back of the refrigerator. Storing plastics on cooking gas cylinders.
We identify this as a fire hazard because if you notice, it is pretty much close to the source of heat, which would have been the stove itself. All right? So we can have a spark from this. The Jamaica Fire Brigade encourages that cylinders over 30 pounds should be stored outside. So here we have two heat sources, a microwave and a toaster oven. All right? Plus, there is a charger plugged directly between both sources of heat. What we encourage is that there should be sufficient space to allow for air to pass through. In the bathrooms, the heat sources, for example, your blow dryer, you leave those on running while you do other stuff, while you wash your face, something. But leaving them near your towels and your other materials that can burn, your clothes, that can spark flames.
As for power strips, they should not be overloaded.
So we also encourage that if you're using extension cords, do not run them behind furniture, do not run them under the carpet, because the constant pressure on the cords themselves will cause breakage. Again, if it is near a combustible material, it can cause a fire.
It is crucial that these fire safety measures are adhered to. Every home should have a fire safety plan that is known by each member of the household. Lastly, but very important, keep the numbers of the nearest fire station saved in your telephone contacts.
The general public can make a request for us to come inside the homes, check where you should have a smoke detector, check where an extinguisher should be, because you should have these in your homes as well.
can no longer turn a blind eye to our children. Each of us have the duty to protect them. As we continue to strengthen our protection campaign, we ask that you try positive discipline. Talk not once, twice, 3 times, 7 times even. In talking to your child, you make them comfortable to tell you about what is affecting them. Tell our children the truth and tell them what is wrong and why. We remind our parents, if you are having difficulties with your child, we are here for you to support you along with the many other agencies that are set up for this purpose. Additionally, we remind parents that if you see another parent in need of help or sound advice, reach out and provide support. Every child is our child.
Next, we turn the spotlight on gymnastics. The sport offers multiple benefits that's not only linked to physical development, but also to emotional growth. Watch this.
Gymnastics was developed in ancient Greece as a method to prepare men for warfare. Let that sink in for a bit. Today, the sport is not about military might, but it still pushes the human body to optimal fitness and flexibility. It's also, of course, no longer limited to males and is accommodating to both the young and older. Oh, and you don't need to be in Greece to enjoy what gymnastics has to offer. Right here at home, the National Gymnastics Federation of Jamaica, which enjoys funding support from Government Sports Development Foundation, recognizes 9 member organizations. One of them is Nishida's Gymnastics.
Hi, this is Shin Nishida, and I am the owner and head coach of Nishida Gymnastics. Hi. We are the gymnastics school operated in Jamaica, Kingston, and Montego Bay, Maypen, and Mandeville. We have been in operation since 2008.
There are 2 ways in which people can get engaged in gymnastics: recreational and competitive. Recreational gymnastics caters to anyone who wants to learn the skills in a fun, safe, and structured environment. Competitive gymnastics offers participants the opportunity to learn at the highest level and compete in international competitions. Whichever path the gymnast takes comes with a host of benefits.
Gymnastics is a sport that challenges the child in many different ways.
It helps them physically, right? Fitness, it helps them coordination, balance. It helps them mentally to focus. Most kids are focused, and most kids that tend to do really well in school, gymnastics helps them a lot. Some kids that come in, they're shy, and then gymnastics help them to build that self-confidence. Help them to speak up, right from wrong sometimes, because we teach discipline in our class as well.
One of the best ways for children and young people to experience the benefits of gymnastics is by getting involved in fun and interactive summer camps.
In our summer camp, we have gymnastics as main activities, and we also do performing art and craft, and academic work. As beginners participating in our camp, first thing we do is, of course, building the body, conditionings, in a fun-based activities. It's not going to be like 10 times push-up, 10 times sit-ups, but more fun-based activities. And also we teach floor basics like rollover, split, jumps, and different tumbling skills. And also we have the bars, trampoline, which is also different from floor, but more, flipping kind of fun exercise.
My favorite is the bars because this might sound weird, but I like it because I'm not that good at it, because I'm trying to do more stuff and learn more stuff.
Whilst recreational programs such as gymnastics summer camps are fitting for anyone, competitive gymnastics, on the other hand, requires a much higher level of maturity, commitment, and hard work. They know that well at Nishida's.
From all the branches, we have a small squad working towards the international competition and possibly world-class championships, such as World Championships, well, hopefully Olympic Games, those kind of big games. So those kids train roughly about 20 hours, up to 20 hours per week, which is like 4 hours every day, almost every day. They are doing a program called the USA Gymnastics program, which is not really globally, but it is an international program that is used in the North America, South America, and Central America.
Hi, my name is Sarah Mongalsing. Welcome to Nishida's Gymnastics, Mandeville.
Sarah started like 4 to 5 years ago. She started move up drastically to junior, to NGR stars, and now she's at the USAG level. Sarah received a Golden Gymnast Award. That's for grading to see how well she has been doing throughout the term. She have received like a lot of medals, first place medals. She have received Gymnast of the Term the other day. She have received international medals. She was even placed fourth internationally out of 65 gymnasts overseas. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Corinne. Welcome to Nishida's Gymnastics, Montego Bay.
Corinne has been progressing so well from where she started to where she is now. She's actually training for level 5 USAG, in which she has her overseas competition coming up in January at Orlando. Now and then we have basically like an in-house Olympics in which she received the strongest gymnast award. She received also the most flexible gymnast award. Also, she's actually a part of the Jamaica national team now.
Though gymnastics has proven to be quite beneficial for both recreational and competitive gymnasts, it is important to note that there are inherent risks in the sport that can only be controlled and kept to a minimum with proper supervision and coaching best practices. Once gymnasts and coaches are able to exercise safety at all times, the benefits for participants are endless.
I learned patience because, sometimes it's not your day, so you have to wait until it's your day and you have to keep working hard to achieve success.
I've seen a lot of improvement and hard work and self-motivation. She's presently here at Nishida's, 3 years now. The kids here at Nishida always look up to her. She's very hardworking.
What I've learned through gymnastics is that it teaches you confidence, because if it wasn't for gymnastics, I would be standing right here, right now, giving this speech, this interview. So I would say it has really given me confidence. It has really taught me, discipline. It has a lot of fundamental values to it. And I would say one more thing is, hard work really pays off. And once you stick to it and consistency, you'll make it.
If you're interested in finding a recreational or competitive sport this school year, gymnastics is definitely a fun and fulfilling option for you.
We've come to the end of the show for today. Catch us again tomorrow on this channel. Here's a reminder to send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.